Okay, so as an introduction to the tournament, this is going to be a best of 3. And it's going to be blind pick, and it's going to be on random map. There are no vetoes. And this is currently the winner's bracket stage of the tournament. So it's a double elimination tournament. And whoever loses will have to move down to the lower bracket, the loser's bracket, where if they lose again, they'll be knocked out. And I don't believe IAmMagyar is the real Magyar that dominated everyone like in 2012-ish. And AOL Iron Maiden is a well-known member of the community who frequently streams. He's a Thor main, so it's a bit interesting to see him go Poseidon. But he went Poseidon against 50 Shades of Hades as well during their game. So maybe he's practices Poseidon a bit for the tournament, and he thinks it's really good on 2.7, or whatever reason he has for playing Poseidon. So here we see both players use lure straight away. Iron Maiden uses the lure on the starting hunt, and IAmMagyar uses it on his town center. I noticed that a lot of like some Poseidon players, notably Matrius or Bubes in the community, doesn't really like using his lure straight away and rather saves it for once all the nearby hunt runs out before using it, so you can draw in animals from further away from the map. So it's interesting to see that neither player has gone for these. And for build order, I think Iron Maiden's doing the standard 5-3-2 build, while IAmMagyar has only got 4 on food, but that's perfectly fine as Greek. But you will have to adjust your sort of build order a bit. So it's a slightly non-standard, but it's perfectly good. In terms of the relics, we see Toothed Arrows Trius Bow, which is a really good relic. Both of these are really good. And Arrows of the Alpha and Boots of Kick Everything. So I don't think there are any really game-breaking relics here, but these are all like pretty good relics. In terms of this matchup, I think like most Greek mirrors are usually quite boomy, and on Marsh, the goal tends to be quite safe. So I expect it to be somewhat boomy, but then both of these players, they will want to grab their forward TCs. That's quite important because there's a lot of hunt in the middle of the map, and grabbing the forward town center would help them secure that. So I expect that would be a point of contention, or something that they both try to do. They'll both have ceasefire, so they'll both be able to grab this forward town center. I don't think ceasefire is too valuable in this matchup, so like if they get in trouble, they can just use it and grab the forward town center, and it won't be too terrible. In terms of resource count, we can see Iron Maiden is a bit more wood and gold than Magyar, but Magyar already has the 3-2 age up, so he'll probably be grabbing a Theseus to help pick up some relics before he ages up. While Maiden, if he chooses to do that, it will delay his advance a little bit. So I think Magyar has a bit better of a build order here. He's also got, I think, half a village or more than Iron Maiden. Like, no, he doesn't. But he could have definitely have gone for the Theseus to grab some relics on this map, which would be really good. But he's chosen not to do that. Instead, opting to go for Hermes straight away, even though he has the resources to spare. And he's going to be advancing slightly sooner than Iron Maiden. So if we look at 2 scouting, you can see this forward town center, and then it sort of has a gold mine behind it. So I reckon that he would grab this, his forward town center right after advancing, as opposed to his back town center, which is kind of bad. It doesn't protect anything. And that's where Iron Maiden, I would say the same as well. Like, both of these players, they want to grab their forward town centers. Instead, we see Iron Maiden opting for a double stable opening and economic upgrades. So he's not going to grab his town center straight away, while it looks like Magyar has the resources to do so, but he's not grabbing his town center. So we see a bit of a raid coming down here. This is going to be pretty brutal because there's no one here to defend this raid. Like, I might even ceasefire here if I was red, because like this is like massive villager idle time, and I think it's going to be 2 villagers picked off. And actually, no, only 1. So maybe he didn't need to ceasefire there. That was the right call. But I'd rather ceasefire than lose 2 villagers there. And he's going for a very ballsy TUC grab right in front here. That's actually so ballsy. Like, I mean, if I was doing that, I would definitely have just ceasefired. So and he's going for another town center here. Hold up. Wow, so he's going straight for a 3 TC boom, while Iron Maiden is doing some sort of 1 town center aggression. He's got 8 villagers on gold and 3 stables auto-queuing Hippicon. And he does manage to find this town center in the back, and he's putting on a bit of a raid. He also sees the town center going up in front. And Red is losing a lot of villagers here. Why weren't you ceasefiring? Come on, ceasefire. So it looks like Red has already lost like 2 or 3 villagers here. So no, that's really not good. He should have paid more attention and been able to ceasefire without losing all those villagers. But I still think he's in a good spot because he's got this town center up in the middle, which is Iron Maiden's foreign town center. And he's secured all this hunts in the middle of the map. Though Iron Maiden does look like he's going to be able to grab his foreign town center and secure a lot of hunts of his own as well. I'm also surprised that neither player has picked up any relics. I'd really like to see someone pick up the Triosbow relic. I think that's a really nice relic for this matchup. Having 2 extra range on your Toxotes would come in handy. You see Magyar making stables and archery ranges, so he's queuing both Hippicons and Toxotes, while Iron Maiden's only going for Hippicons. And I think going for Hippicons early on right now is better, because Toxotes don't really get value until you start hitting close to the pop limit and having big fights, since that's where they excel. But in this early stage of the game, Hippicons fare a lot better than fighting. So I would have delayed this archery range until a bit later, personally, and had more Hippicon and gone around raiding. Like, there are quite a few spots that could have been raided. We also see Magyar have 12 villagers on food. On his pigs, but then he doesn't have husbandry, so I think that's a bit of a mistake. He should definitely be having husbandry if he's going to have this many villagers on pigs. And he still has deer in the starting hunt. He still has this Auroch. He can still sort of try to fight for this other hunt here, or use up more of the hunt near his starting town center. So like, I think it's a I think this is a bit of a mistake, and that's why we see IAmMagyar somewhat behind in the score right now. He's also mining from this forward mine, which is also a bit questionable. You'd probably rather gather the safe frontier first, because that's like more important than the mining from this gold mine right now. You can always mine at the mine at home and take all these villagers off herdables. So, because of his 3-town center boom, though, we see Magyar does have a bit of a villager lead. He's ahead by 12 villagers. Iron Maiden has a lot more map control. He's hunting wherever he wants as well. Iron Maiden has to turtle under the safety of his town centers, and is generally struggling a bit more in economy, despite having more villagers. He has no eco ups and less army, so I'd say he's definitely behind right now. Now we see Magyar going for the forward stables. I don't believe this is in Iron Maiden's LOS, so he can't see it. But he is going in for a raid here, and it's going to catch all these villagers, and it's going to be a really, really nice raid. And I'd expect like these 4 villagers to be killed here, especially with the slow reaction from Magyar. So this also forces a lot of idle time. Like we have 14 villagers idle because of this raid. And he's sort of defending this raid with a few units he has, but then he doesn't have upgrades. He does have the help of the TC fire though. And it looks like this fight is going somewhat in Iron Maiden's favor, since he does have a centaur. It sort of counters the damage of the TC, and he's got the better upgrades as well. Iron Maiden also, he sees this gold being mined here. Like from Iron Maiden's point of view, if he looks at this gold mine, he could see the gold going down, but he can't actually see the villagers. Okay, so he goes to check it now, and he can see it mining. So he's actually in a position to gold starve here if he comes down and raids this and denies this gold mine as well. But he has to be careful about not losing too many units under this town center. Meanwhile, we see Magyar having a quite pitiful economy. Like, he's got no food. He's got like 30 on food, but then he has to make hippicons as well as villagers, and he doesn't have enough. And since he's used up all his pigs, he's got like a bit of a problem right now. And we actually see the villager count. Iron Maiden has caught up to IAmMagyar, so it looks like IAmMagyar is just sort of in a position where he's got like no advantages right now. That said, I don't think he's too far behind. Like, he could still go heroic and then just chuck a fortress and maybe siege, or get a good fight and get back into the game like that. But he does need to get better upgrades. He does need to wall the map for more map control so he doesn't get raided like this. And it might be hard, since Iron Maiden looks like he's ready to go heroic. He's almost there. He's got the food. He's almost got the gold. If he just stops Hippicon production for a bit, which he's still like powering on with, he will have the resources to be heroic through probably Aphrodite here, and be able to go mythic from there and cast Earthquake on this forward town center and win the game off that. Iron Maiden also does have a lot of exposed points that are very open to raids, but then Magyar doesn't know about it because I think he's lost his scout. He's not scouting anywhere. And there's a gold mine here and a gold mine here. Like he could be trying to raid, but he's not. And I think, like, well, I mean, from the observers, it's easy to say that, but like, Iron Maiden definitely sort of opened himself up to raids, and he's not being punished. I really don't like that he still doesn't have the medium upgrades. It's just so good to have these medium hippicons and medium toxities. It makes your army so much better. One thing that neither of these players are doing is walling, and I think it would be quite smart to wall here to like help prevent raids, even though they're not happening. They could happen, and they could be very nasty because neither player has walls. Also, Iron Maiden is farming a lot on his front town center, which I don't really like, because if he loses this front town center, which is his most vulnerable town center, he also loses all the farms. It's just such a massive setback. You should be farming on one of his back town centers or his base town center, especially since this town center has a lot of hunts near it. So, well, he's used up all the hunts, but then still, he's also got to make a storehouse on this wood line, which he hasn't. Looks like both players are through heroic, and Iron Maiden interestingly chooses to go for Dionysus. Maybe he wants the cavalry upgrades. But even then, arguably, I think the Aphrodite upgrades might be more important than the upgrades Dionysus give. And we see Magyar is actually taking the score lead right now. It's really interesting. So, looks like he's gotten some economic upgrades and maybe a few good trades. And he's also got Curse, which I think is more useful here than Bronze, especially right now. And he started to tower spam this forward gold mine. Maybe he'll set a fortress here soon and try to siege. He's also getting crenellations, so these towers will absolutely melt all the cavalry. So this gold mine is going to be absolutely impenetrable. So 4 towers might be a bit overkill. I mean, especially since towers are really vulnerable to earthquake. Like if Iron Maiden goes mythic, which he's very close to being able to, you can just earthquake down this location, and then all these towers will be gone, and then this TC will be heavily damaged at least. And all this towering will be kind of stupid then. You also see a defensive curse used from Iron Maiden to defend against a raid, which is not the optimal use of curse. Like ideally you want to use it on both armies and villagers, and not on these high hit point Hippicon units, since Hippicons like have high health and Curse goes by health. Kind of was a bit of an inefficient use. So right now we see both players going mythic. We see that Magyar is slightly ahead in aging to mythic, and he'll be probably earthquaking this front town center for Iron Maiden. And this front town center, it doesn't have masons, it doesn't have architects, and there's no nearby buildings to help like soak up some of the earthquake damage, since all the buildings are further back. So earthquake will absolutely decimate this town center and bring it down. While Magyar's town center, it's protected by buildings on next to it, but it doesn't have fortified town centers, so I'm not sure if it will survive the earthquake. It probably will. I think earthquake will definitely be more devastating on Iron Maiden's town center than Magyar's. As you can see here, it removed the town center and 2 buildings, which is a very strong earthquake. You also see right now that Magyar is going for the Chimera spam. No, he's going for Centaurs. That's really, really weird. Why would you go for Centaurs here when you have Chimera? Why would you go for Centaurs? But he is getting the Aphrodite's A4 upgrade. He's queued the Centaurs. He's got the Sylvan Lore upgrade. It doesn't really make sense. Why is he making Centaurs? That doesn't make sense. He's also got a big army of Toxotes and some decent. Well, not really decent upgrade. He's kind of lacking in army upgrades. But it looks like he has taken map control, and Iron Maiden's gold has run out. So if Magyar knows about this, he could put on a lot of pressure. I don't understand why he's making Centaurs and not Chimeras. He's even got the Sylvan Lore upgrade. Just seen the Sylvan Lore upgrade. Or no, he just doesn't have the gold to make Chimeras right now. But then, still, I think it was a bit of a waste to get that upgrade. I thought you'd just like, well, he has the gold now to make Chimeras. Also, I think Iron Maiden is actually doing a lot better on map control than Magyar, since he has the corners of the maps covered. He's making a trade route, and oh no! What is this? What's this army doing? What's going on here? This is the throw of. I don't know. This is a spectacular throw. What's going on here? Come on. What's this? It's not even shooting the. It's not even shooting the Chimera. Come on. Pay attention. The Centaur coming in. That's just gonna die in 3 chomps to the Chimera or the Hippolyta. We see this army finally springing in action, but then it was sort of late. It really needed to be there to defend this push with Earthquake. The Centaurs, this doesn't make sense. Why is he making Centaurs? Why are you making Centaurs? Come on. Chimeras are way better here. The Centaur, look, 1 Hippolyta hour. Look at how much damage it does to the Centaur. It just dies so fast. And like, he's on 110 pop. He's like, oh my god. It's such a stupid throw. He is raiding the trade though, but this town center looks like it might fall soon. He's doing a lot worse on upgrades, and he's making Centaurs. He's got all the economic upgrades, so he's doing quite well. On that, but like, he's got no army. He's on less than 100 pop right now, while Iron Maiden's on full 160 pop. And I still don't understand why neither player is attempting to wall. Like, all these raids, like, they shouldn't be happening. He should just make a wall down here, and then all these raids could be stopped. Yeah, I know. Centaurs over Chimera. Yeah. This is unexplainable. It's not like he doesn't have the gold to make Chimera. He's just making Centaurs. And like, I thought this might have been a comeback for Magyar. Well, it seemed like it was a pretty close game, but then like after Mythic, these actions just don't make sense. Like making the Centaur, like he doesn't have a fortress. Like he should really set up a fortress and get like those Heliopolis rolling to siege down this middle TC. But he's not doing that. Instead, he's making Centaurs. He's not spamming building everywhere to like constantly flood army, and like since you're Poseidon, if you lose buildings, you get militia. He's just falling really far behind right now. But surprisingly, he's only down like 400 score, even though he's been consistently about 100 population, which is actually a bit weird. He's also got a lot of idle villagers here. He's not paying attention. He is raiding the trade route. This trade route that Iron Maiden made is definitely not paying off for him because, like, all these donkey caravans are just so expensive. They're just getting picked off right now, and they don't even have that much gold, I think. It's only got 66 gold. This one is 67 gold, 66. These are gathering slower than villagers that have, like, just pickaxe, and, like, having just pickaxe at this stage of the game is, like, not good. Actually, no, they're gathering maybe about as fast as villagers, but they're just getting picked off before they can get the gold to the market by these 5 units over here. Our Maiden still doesn't have siege to bring down this town center. He's only got a bunch of peltasts. But he is working on that. He is getting some fortresses up. Well, I don't understand why, but then Magyar isn't interested in making fortresses, even though those are so good in the late game. You make 2 fortresses and you roll out your best unit, the Heliopolis, out of these fortresses. And then the Heliopolis are also so good against these archers. They're going to be so useful for taking down this town center, which is going to be absolutely critical. But he just doesn't... Like, he's just got, like, thousands of resources in the bank, but he's not getting any upgrades. He's not building any buildings. He's not spamming buildings. And he's got these villagers idle, like, since I don't know how many minutes, but they've been idle for very long. So I'm really confused what he's doing, but he somehow managed to take the store lead. I think it's because of the Aphrodite upgrades. Just like, I know that when I play Zeus against Poseidon or Hades, if I don't manage to get that early edge, and they go through Aphrodite, those upgrades, they really are a killer. And he resigns. Oh, wow. I don't understand that. His position was absolutely salvageable. He's got thousands of resources in the bank. All he needs to do is spam a few buildings and then roll a few Heliopolis. He's got a better late game because he's gone through Aphrodite instead of Dionysus. And, like, he's doing massive damage on this trade route. I don't understand. I don't understand why he would, like, throw so hard there. It's, or did I go out of sync? I'm not sure. Is that out of sync? I'm very confused. I thought out of sync actually goes out of sync now. Or am I wrong about that? Yeah, depends on how much experience he has. Maiden's been playing since Noah launched his art. Yeah, we don't actually know who this IAmMagyar person is. Like, I don't know if it's a Smurf or something, but we haven't seen too much of him on EE. We did see him play in the last EE league, and he did get to the top 16 stage, but no further than that. So he's a decent player, and he held up a decent performance against Maiden, but then that late game, making the centaurs and like not spending his resources, that's just really painful to watch. Like, he should be having, like, winning there because he went through Aphrodite and not Dionysus. I think Dionysus is an absolutely garbage choice for that matchup in that situation. Like, Aphrodite there, the curse was a lot better than bronze. And those upgrades are so important for, like, the grindy late game that tends to happen in this sort of matchup. So I guess that's 0-1 right now, the score. Or 1-0 for AOL Iron Maiden. Now, by the way, that's my power in the background. Apologies if he's too loud. So I wonder if we'll be seeing some Thor from Iron Maiden. Like, I know Iron Maiden is a Thor main, but he hasn't gone Thor. against 50 Shades or Magyar. Is this the patch? Yes, this is played on the current 2.7 beta patch of EE. Well, it's a beta patch, but it's more or less finished, and we're just waiting for it to go live. We don't know. We don't know when the developers will make it go live. So this is game 2. So Iron Maiden only needs to win 1 game to advance to the next stage, while Magyar has to win the next 2 games. And so Oasis is a low hunt map, and it looks like there are no zebra in sight. So it's interesting that Iron Maiden chooses not to use his lure this game. I thought you'd want to use lure right away to help you find the to help you find the hunt. It looks like he's not going to be successful in finding a zebra, so he has to gather from his berries for now. While Uranus, he's perfectly happy to do so, since Uranus does have a very strong 4-minute advance without hunting dogs, but he does see the zebra here, so we'll see if he chooses to continue going for this faster advance without hunting dogs, or if he'll grab an economic guild and try to pick up the zebra. We see Iron Maiden is getting hunting dogs now since he has found the starting zebra. It's 5 zebra, it's a lot of food. And there's usually a giraffe spawn on 2.7 Oasis maps, from what I've seen. So it's a smart idea to get hunting dogs. No, that's definitely my parrot. My parrot is making a lot of screeching outside. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to let my parrot in on the cast, but it looks like I don't have a choice here. So we see the zebra here. It has been scouted by Red, but it looks like it's going to be really forward, so there could be a fight for this zebra. Like, especially if Iron Maiden chooses to go Ares, which might actually be viable here. Because, like, he could like push Magyar off the hunt if he goes Ares, and that's going to be really important. Do you go hunting dogs? Yes. I mean, in general, I would go hunting dogs as Greek here, but as Atlantean, I'd say what Magyar is doing is perfectly fine. So he's going for a faster advance. He's put a lot less. I mean, he didn't get any economic guild, and that means he sort of saved more resources than others did, because he's not only saved resources on not getting hunting dogs, but also not building the economic guild yet. So he's saved quite a lot of resources. So he'll have to build it eventually. So saved is not really the right word. He can advance fast and put a lot of pressure, which is good for Uranus. And if he finds where Iron Maiden's giraffes are, he could push him off of them. I'm not sure where they are. Maybe this might be a bit of a map screw. I don't see where Iron Maiden's giraffes are. Is this the only giraffe patch on the map? Well, it would be a map screw, but then the lure has taken 2 giraffes away from this spot, so it looks like Iron Maiden will probably be fine from this sort of hunt spawning closer to Magyar. How do you switch perspectives while in observer mode? Oh, there are hotkeys for it. Like Shift Alt F is a hotkey for toggling the fog of war. And then you can press Shift Alt 2 or 1, or corresponding to the player number. 3 being my perspective as the observer, to toggle whose like perspective you want to see the game from. So in terms of goats, we see Magyar has 15 goats, which is quite a lot, and Iron Maiden only has 10 goats, so Magyar definitely walled in the goat wars so far. We might wonder if this goat will make it back home. You see double counter barracks coming out from Magyar, so it's going to be going for a Terma heavy style. No wait, this is a military barracks. So usually you build these two buildings with different villagers to get them up faster. So they're not going to be up exactly so fast. But he still advanced quite quickly, so he's going to be able to get some early army out and maybe apply some pressure, but there's not really any good spots to pressure. I mean, Iron Maiden has finished his hunt. This gold mine right here is very secure, so honestly, I think this army isn't going to do much. Like, it would be much more effective to just grab a town center. We see Iron Maiden raging again in chat. He says fucking gay. It's probably about the map. Like he doesn't know where his giraffes are. Like, he actually doesn't have giraffes for some reason. I'm not sure why. And right now, I think Iron Maiden's doing a bit better because he's staying comfortably in his base. And like, he hasn't. Well, I'm actually not sure. He doesn't have eco upgrades. I think also maybe like he also can't really get another town center because of this army roaming around. But then I'd be quite happy as Greeky and Serranos to just sit in my base and boom. And then he's probably worried about securing the second gold mine right here. Or maybe he could go for this gold mine here. That'd be probably my concern as Iron Maiden, seeing as Magyar is going for 1 TC. So he might be going for a gold star. I definitely want to see him get like some economic upgrades. Like, especially since he's found the giraffes here, he should have gotten hunting dogs and then used it on the zebra while finishing. Actually, hunting dogs might not be worth it with only 2 giraffes, but like 2 giraffes and 2 zebras, maybe it's worth it. You also get husbandry because you got so many goats here. But I think actually a fast second town center would be really nice on this map, especially this town center. It protects these 2 gold mines. It has these 2 close gold mines, so going for this town center would be really nice. Instead, he's opted for army and got map control. Well, there's nothing really to control right now until Iron Maiden's gold mine runs out, which isn't going to be until about 10 or 11 minutes. Iron Maiden's also on his goats right now, but he doesn't have husbandry. I think he should be getting husbandry. You see a bit of a raid on the gold mine here, but it's not going to do any damage. You usually expect Atlantean to have like a mana on their starting gold to prevent the raid, or you could just make a short wall here to stop the Hippicons from coming in. I think that would be a good idea. These Hippicons are sort of... I don't know what the Terma was doing. Well, these Hippicons are actually decimating the Terma. So he definitely wants more of a meaty army with like Murmillos and maybe Catapultes to fight Poseidon's Hippicon heavy army. What did you say? Oops. What happened? Missed that. We see Iron Maiden, Magyar just getting his upgrades now. He has 3 idle citizens here. I don't know if he's going to notice it. Is he going to notice? Oh my god. He has to pay attention. This is so terrible. Well, like, this is kind of unacceptable to have idle idle villagers like this for so long. I think he's just like behind right now from this really sloppy play. I don't know what he's doing. He should also start farming since he's got like 500 wood. Like he's still got some goats, but these are going to run out eventually. You're not going to take him all the game, so you should start farming, and then you won't have to make as many farms to go mythic if you start farming earlier. Hold up. What's going on here? Am I out of sync? What? This is so weird. I think I'm out of sync actually. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like my game's out of sync. Something's not right. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I think my game's out of sync. So I'm not sure what to do now. I'm just looking at these idle units. Probably went out of sync last game too. That's why it looked like Red was playing so weird. And like he still resigned when like he had the score lead. It's really weird. Yeah, so that's a bit of a shame. Looks like the game is out of sync. They still haven't fixed that issue. Like, on Extended Edition 2.7 version, if the game goes out of sync, it just keeps you like in the game. Like it doesn't boot you out of the game and out of sync, and it just keeps playing, and everybody's still in the game, and then like all this weird stuff happens. Like we can see the centaurs just idle. And they're like, I don't know if I should stay in this game or if disconnecting might cause problems for me. Yeah, it's been out of sync for quite a few minutes. So I'm gonna ask them for the rec after the game's finished. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. Oh, hopefully they didn't crash their game. No, actually, no, it won't go on forever because someone will eventually resign. Like it did in that last game. So I'm going to wait for them to finish their game, and then I'm going to ask for the rec, and then hopefully we can then take a look at the rec. In the meantime, let's go over Mr. Boat vs. Komedian. So Mr. Boat vs. Komedian was a match played in a different round of the tournament. It happened earlier this week. It was actually round 1, but like it happened so late because one of the players just didn't show up, and then Mr. Boat took his place after like about a week and a half or something after the tournament started. So we're going to have a look at that game. So here we see game 1, and we see Mr. Boat is on Odin, while Komedian is on Zeus. And like this replay was shared by Mr. Boat, so you can see from his point of view, he plays zoomed all the way out, which is like something that like I never find a lot of players on EE like to do, but you can't do that on the Titans version of the game. But I personally like to play more zoomed in. Yeah. So we see here Mr. Boat has lured this boar in very close to his TC. So I feel like he doesn't actually need to make another ox cart on this gold mine yet. He could have just like used this ox cart on this gold mine and then built the second ox cart when he needed it, which would be a little bit more efficient. In the meantime, he's scouting the middle of the map very nicely with one Alsark. Though on this map, I think it would be sensible to go to Alsarks straight away to get more goats in the middle. But he's done this, he's scouted a nice big circle, so he's got a lot of goats. While looking at Comedian's perspective, he's chose to scout in the side and go all the way into the corner. And that doesn't give you as many goats. I don't think the corner here is that important to scout, so I don't really like how Komedian is scouted. Like, you either scout a circle around your base, not going to the corner first, or you go and do what Mr. Boat did. You ran into the middle, where there's the most goats, and then ran all the way to the edge of the frozen pool, and then run back, like not overlapping. And that way, you see he's collected a lot of goats. Like right now, he's got 6 goats here. He's preparing to use Great Hunt, and then he's got 4 more goats here. He uses Great Hunt, and he has so many goats now. He's got 13 goats, while Comedian's sitting here with barely anything. He's only got 4 goats. Now, looking at the map, this is a really crap town center. But this town center is pretty good. It can, like, secure these 2 sort of gold mines. Well, for Mr. Boat, this town center is also quite nice. This town center is kind of garbage. But whether I would go for a 2 town center on this map or not, I'd probably not. These town centers are good, but not really good enough because they don't like completely cover the gold mine. And what Zeus can do here, since it's a 1 gold mine ghost lake, he can go for some Athena aggression and try to use restoration to fight before the Norse reach heroics on the 2nd gold mine. Or he could go for some centaur raiding strategy. Since it's a 1 gold mine ghost lake. No, it's a 2 gold mine ghost lake, so actually Athena probably won't be that effective. So I'd expect him to go Hermes, like the meeting to go Hermes, and go for some centaur raids maybe. Though Mr. Boat is going to be able to wall himself in. Is it really Magyar? I'm quite convinced that this is not Magyar. But he uses the name Magyar. I'm quite convinced. So here we see Komedian. He's got 10 villagers on this small pack of hunt animals right here, which I really don't like. You want to split your villagers a bit more. Like, it would be much better for, like, maybe 5 of these villagers only to be on these animals, and then the other 5 to be on the berries here. It will be much more efficient, because, like, once these animals finish, or when these villagers get pushed off. Yeah, the score is, the score is for a game that we aren't watching anymore because it went out of sync. for us. But then the players are still playing right now, so we'll leave them to it. So we see now that Komedian has to move all these villagers back. And it's like just a lot of walking time. And he's also got kind of sketchy eco setup. He's got 4 villagers on favors. He's got 6 villagers on wood. He's getting hand at. But then this isn't quite enough villagers on wood to support centaur spamming. So I don't think Komedian is really in a position to go for those fast centaur raids before Mr. Boat can wall up. Like once he hits classic, with this kind of economic setup, like 2 villagers on favors, they should be moved to wood, and on 2 separate woodlands to play around forest fire. Meanwhile, Mr. Boat has hit classic at a pretty good time. Let's have a look. He's hit classic at 427. He's got the Valkyrie out. He knows about the hunt going on here, so he's going to send his Valkyrie there, and it's probably going to get bolted. But then he's going to be able to follow up the harass with this Cursor and maybe some more Pulsars. Looks like he is going to be able to take this hunt uncontested, which is good for him, and then enjoy a lot of goats in his base. And you can see here the Valkyrie did get bolted. The Cursor here, he finds 2 more goats. And instead of going for the harass, he's picking up the Thundercloud Troll relic, which is a pretty good relic. So I think it's a good choice, because one Cursor can't actually do that much harass onto the villagers. He just gets beaten up, and he doesn't have the Valkyrie to heal anymore. So I think it's a good choice to go grab that relic. It's very nice against Zeus. So your units don't die to centaurs and toxicities as fast. He does forest fire this back woodland here, which further delays Komedian centaur production. You can see Komedian, he's making centaurs. He's got 1 centaur out. He's got Odysseus out. And then now he doesn't have the wood for the centaur upgrade, but he's got 33 favor. He's making another centaur. But it's like, it's going to be so slow. And it's just like, it's not going to be a good centaur without the upgrade. And also, Mr. Boat's more or less finished walling. He's actually got a really nice map to wall. So maybe centaurs wasn't the best idea. Like it's 2 gold mine, you just wall this map up, and then you can grab this town center even though it secures nothing, because you have 2 gold mines in your base. Yeah, it's not the real Magyar. Well, at least I think it's not, because he doesn't seem the same level as the real Magyar. And then right now we see like these 2 centaurs here. They're going to be worthless because they can't go through the wall. He's still not getting the centaur upgrade. He's got like, well, he's getting it now, but he's got like so much favor because he's got 4 villagers on favor, and he just doesn't have the wood to make centaurs. He's also got quite a lot of food and a decent amount of gold. Like he's probably regretting now making these centaurs and not going for the 2nd town center, which would be a lot better, in my opinion, than these centaurs right now. While Mr. Boat has lots of gatherers and good amount of eco upgrades, and he's like eating all these goats. He had like 50 now, while Komedian only has these miserable 6 goats. He's making a military academy to make hoplites, but then he might not have enough food to be able to produce hoplites. So we see like Mr. Boat's taking a 2nd TC now, and Komedian, he's actually only on 43 pop, even though Mr. Boat's took his 2nd TC. And he's got literally nothing. He's chosen to build 2 academies, but then like, what can he even pressure with this? 2 centaurs. We see a centaur glitch through the wall, and it managed to snipe off 1 dwarf. But like, only managing to pick off 1 villager doesn't justify all these centaurs. The centaur also gets picked off. Do you see him trying to break down the wall with these hoplites, which would hopefully allow these centaurs to get a bit more value. But at the moment, I think it's already too late, because he's just sort of behind right now from Nico. And he's also got absolutely no upgrades. He was actually getting hand axe from this storehouse over here, but then the forest fire destroyed it. So he didn't get hand axe in the end, and then now he's just like, he's got absolutely no upgrades and a shit eco. He's just got a few hoplites and centaurs running around while Mr. Boat's ahead 15 villagers, and he's ahead in population as well. So I think this game is just about over. And looking at the timer, I think Komedian realizes this as well. Going in for one final push on this town center with like 13 unupgraded hoplites. Maybe even a medium. And this is obviously going to fail because he's doing excellent here. So Mr. Boat takes the first game of Komedian. I'm gonna have a look to see if they finished the game yet. And we're gonna look at the second game. Once again, it's from Mr. Boat's perspective. And interestingly, he goes for great hunts on the zebras instead of waiting to find if he like gets any goats. I think he only gets 3 zebras because great hunts can only multiply a maximum of 750 food of animals. So I don't think that's ideal. It's probably better to wait for some goats and then use it. Also, think it's a good idea to go 2 all-starts on this map, and he's doesn't seem to be doing it. He's only got 1 all-star. 2 all-starts would help you find more goats and take them away from your opponent, so it's generally worth it on Oasis. While Komedian, let's see how his scouting is. Scouting looks better this map, and he is getting more goats. It is showing. Well, Mr. Boat, it looks like Mr. Boat has both second all-star, so he's doing that, and he's managed to scout more goats on this side, which is good. I think it was right. Now, he doesn't have great hunt anymore, but then he could have used it on these, like, 88 food, and then gotten, like, 8 goats instead of 3 zebra, which I think would have been a lot better. Like, I'd take 8 goats over 3 zebra, because you just get so much more food in the long run, and then you can delay your farms and go mythic without making many farms, which is really nice. Meanwhile, Komedian has found his giraffes, and Mr. Boat has also found his giraffes, but then he's going to eat up his zebras first, it seems. So this might be a point of contention later on. Like, since he's not getting the giraffes now, if Mr. Komedian decides to play aggressive, then he might not be able to get them later. But his starting gold mine is safe at least. So if Komedian chooses to play aggressive, I know he'll have to fight on one of these other gold mines. And it looks like we see Bolt being cast on the all-star that Mr. Boat made. I don't think that was a very good use of Bolt because it's already been quite late and Mr. Boat's already found a lot of goats without all-star. So it was probably better to save the Bolt for the Valkyrie, since the Valkyrie is a very strong myth unit, very annoying myth unit. Now we see Komedian. He's once again got 10 villagers on this food here. I really don't like it. Like, he should have, like, split his zebras gatherers so they lasted longer. Like, not put so many, and then you don't have to put as many on these giraffes now to age up. Because, like, these villagers are just going to have to walk back to base, and it's just going to be walking time. And yeah, so these villagers had to walk all the way out to the giraffes, and now they're walking back. That's time they're not gathering. That's inefficiency. Looking at his resource spread, it looks like he's going to go for a bit of a boom. He's going to try to grab one of these town centers, but I'm a bit iffy about that. Well, actually, a boom is like sort of a good strategy on Oasis, but then the issue is this town center secures nothing. It's an absolutely garbage town center. And And this town center doesn't seem to secure anything either, but he still needs to scout this part of the map. And it looks like it does have a gold mine down here, but it doesn't really protect it that well. But this town center is still better than this other town center. He's also got idle town center. He's chosen to grab this town center. Come on, stop idling. Okay. Yeah, so he's got a bit of an idle town center. Well, Mr. Boat has, like, since Mr. Boat sees the Hermes, he's chosen to make some walls, which I think is very sensible. It's a smart thing to do. To stop the Centaur raid, since they can be very damaging. And then right now the Valkyrie's coming down, and there's not going to be a bolt for the Valkyrie. But it looks like there's not really anywhere to raid apart from here. So we'll see if the Valkyrie finds this location. So you can see Comedian has safely gone to town centers, and now he's going to be helping villagers. And when Mr. Boat sees this, he responds by taking his own town center, though, like, this isn't the only thing you can do. He could also try to go heroic through Nord and try to push down this town center with Walking Woods, or push it down with Frost Giants if you choose to go Skadi. But instead he chooses to take his own town center, which might be a bit safer because, like, he might be, like, able to defend this town center with ceasefire especially. Right now we see, I think it was a pretty even goat spread for both players here. And Comedian, seeing Mr. Boat going 2 town center, goes 3 town centers. So Comedian has a bit of a villager lead, but then Mr. Boat is north, so his economy will be better because these dwarves are better than regular villagers. Now, Comedian, he does have husbandry. Okay, so it's good that he has husbandry, but before gathering these goats. A big mistake I see people often make is to put a lot of villagers on herdables and not have husbandry. Though I wish he would take some of these berries before using up all these goats. Mr. Boat is also walling up the map now to get more map control, and I think that's a really good idea in a boom game. That's really important to make sure you wall up the map and get as much map control as you can before your opponent tries to contest it. Let me see Comedian right now. He's responding with his own walls. I'm not sure why he chose to build the walls like this instead of like how Mr. Boat is building his own walls. Like this is a bit funny the way these walls look.
Πρόσεχε.
So right now, since it's a boom game, like I would be worried as Comedian about Ragnarok. So he kind of has the option to try to put some more aggression on with this army to force Mr. Boat to keep trading units and delay Ragnarok. Or you could go fast mythic and try to make a play with Underworld and Colossi to do enough damage before Ragnarok happens. Or you could just like stay at home and spam lots of towers. So he's got sort of 3 options. You should also really wall up this area. Now it's getting a bit of a raid, but these units are going to be backing off. Though I think they did. They could have stayed and just carried out the raid here. So we see Comedian is ahead in villagers now, so he should be doing quite well. But the Norse does have a stronger economy because they get like free favor for fighting, and also they have the dwarf economy. So it's kind of misleading. I'd say they have about similar economies right now. And Comedian chooses to go through Dionysus. That's really weird. I don't know why you would go Dionysus here. It's a boom game, so I think Apollo would be a lot more valuable. Like with Underworld into the back and stuff. If you go Mythic, and then the Siege. Like, you Underworld would also kill off a few dwarves easily. Like, yeah, and then that would weaken the Ragnarok a lot if you use it to kill dwarves. So right now, Comedian's plan, like, I'm not sure what his plan is. Since he went Dionysus, I imagine it would be to try to push in on Mr. Boat's base, but doesn't have the army to do so. So Mr. Boat attacks this town center here and forces Comedian to ceasefire, trading with his frost, which I think it's a good trade. It's a good trade. You don't want to have to worry about ceasefire once you have used Ragnarok. We see these Toxicities here. They're all stuck between the wallings. It's really funny, but it's a very good battle formation. So they're going to try and push him on this location here. And Comedian is almost through Hera. But this fight, otherwise, it looks like it'll be quite even. You have to look at the upgrades. Mr. Boat has some solid army upgrades, and Comedian doesn't have as much. So I think this favor if like Lightning Storm doesn't get used, and like Lightning Storm on this army would be sort of, I don't know. I don't really like it because it's like not pressuring anything. It's not pressuring a gold mine. It's not pressuring a town center. So if he does use Lightning Storm here, I don't think it would accomplish too much. He does use it. It kills this army, and then it pushes him into this hill fort, which protects this gold mine that's not being used. Just pushing into nothing. Well, how close is Mr. Boat to Ragnarok? Okay, so Mr. Boat still isn't going Ragnarok yet, it seems. Right now he's just like flooding units into this location where this whole fort is, but it's like, it's kind of worthless. I mean, like, there's a hill fort here. And that's also why Underworld Passage is so important, like, because right now he's just beating his head against the hill fort, whereas if he had Underworld Passage, he could be attacking like a soft spot right here, like under this town center, while all of Mr. Boat's army is right over here. Like, he'd be attacking like this town center, while Mr. Boat's army is all the way over here, and he takes out this town center and kills some dwarves, but instead he's got bronze, which is like not even being used here. It's like not important enough. He does have very good upgrades though, but I'm not sure if it's enough to hold off Ragnarok when it inevitably does happen. You can see Mr. Boat, he's got 90 villagers, so it's going to be a very nice Ragnarok for him. I mean, he does manage to hold this whole fort while more units keep being flooded in. But there's going to be 2 hill forts down here. And also throwing out going to counter these infantry. So I think Mr. Boat should be able to hold fine here. Okay, so Mr. Boat is through Mythic. How many? He had 110 Ragnarok heroes right now. So it's going to be an absolutely massive Ragnarok. And looking at the timeline, I don't think Comedian is able to hold it. I mean, looking at his base, he's not done enough walling. He should have like triple layers of walls right now on the base, just like through the middle, through this side. And then like this town center is just completely open. There's not even any military buildings protecting it. This gold mine's open. This gold mine's open. This town center has only got the starting towers and like 2 buildings here. And like this town center, like it's got a bunch of buildings. It doesn't have any towers, walls, defensive buildings. So I think this Ragnarok would definitely be game over. Like even if I didn't see this timeline. You see the
Skipan.
something here. Did that go out of sync as well?
Yo.
Yeah, that seems really weird. I think the game went
Yo.
out of sync as well.
Yo, sat.
Because, like, these
Skip.
Ragnarok heroes, they should have been moving.
Yo.
Should have been attacking. So that's...
Yo.
Oh, that's really weird. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try to turn off my frame rate limiter. I'm going to restart the game. So it's been going out of sync. Also in the live game, and then in these recorded games, it went out of sync as well. I'm actually not sure if the first game is out of sync. It was kind of hard to tell. Because towards the end of it, like, we were seeing some pretty strange stuff towards the end. Like those 9 villagers being idle for very long. The army standing there under the town center. So maybe it went out of sync in the first game as well. So, I'm gonna have a look at the recorded game. Not this one. I want to see the Marsh game. Let's just run through it quickly. The start of the game was like relatively normal, but then that's about the mid game. Like this army right here, it just froze. And then like some 9 villagers here also froze also. So the game still seems to be normal up to this point.
Prostagma.
I'm still seeing the same stupid stuff. Still no eco-ups. Okay, finally hand axe.
Lenge. Λέγε.
Okay. So remember, I think it happened after earthquake happened. The out of sync, I think.
Πρόσταγμα.
Like after the earthquake got here, I believe.
Πρόσταγμα.
He definitely was making centaurs here. Okay. Yeah, that definitely went out of sync. So I see the fortress coming up now, which I definitely didn't see in the live recording. And also these villagers on gold, these 9 idle villagers on gold, or the army stuck here, that's gone. So that was definitely out of sync. That was a very weird issue. I'm not sure why that happened. You see all this pressure being put on in this fortress. It doesn't manage to complete. Like, if this fortress gone up, it would have been huge. You needed more villagers here, more villagers fighting it. And we see the same thing, like, stuck on 100 resources. And we don't actually see, compared to the live game, we don't actually see the raiding on the caravans, which would have been quite important. Like, killing off all these caravans with a few militia. It still doesn't explain why you're making centaurs. Like, it just makes no sense. Why are you making centaurs?
Έτοιμο.
Okay, so it looks like this town center is going to go down. And now it's down. Magyar taps out. We're fake Magyar. Okay, I guess that makes a lot more sense now. Okay. I guess that makes a lot more sense now. The game went out to sync towards the end, and therefore we saw some weird stuff happening, but he definitely was making centaurs for some reason.
Έτοιμος.
And that's my power again. So I'm going to wait for them to finish their games, and then I'm going to ask to get the rec from them. Yeah, it must have gone to 3 games, which is nice, so we get another game. the meantime, can you just appreciate how stupid the spawn is? Wait, why do I only see 2 giraffes here? I thought there was more. Oh, so the map is fair. The other 2 giraffes are here. And the deer, it didn't touch any of Magyar's giraffes. Only took Iron Maiden's. Okay, that makes more sense now. So this is an incomplete recorded game, so I'm only going to watch it up to the. Is this final? No, we're currently waiting for them. We don't know the result yet. We're currently waiting for them to finish their games so we can get the recorded games from them. And see the result.
Burek. Skopos?
Okay. I'm not sure when it went out of sync. I've received a message on Discord. Maybe I have the Rex? No. Okay. Watch the raid with the Hippicons at the top. What's going on here? So it looks like the raid on top didn't really happen. It happened here a bit. It didn't do much. After that, the Hippicon sits there forever. Yeah, this is definitely in sync up to the point that we left. This is what the game should have looked like. Like when we left, there was like a big pool of units. I remember here in front of here, just like being auto-queued from these 2 military buildings and 3 idle citizens stuck on these berries. And we saw a lot of strange things.
Burek.
So this is the point where we left off. We see the population is 100 to 64, and Magyar seems to have a bigger bank of resources. They're both on 2 town centers. He seems to be doing better on the villager count, 19 citizens to 40 Greek villagers. Each citizen is worth about 2.5 Greek villagers. And in terms of economic upgrades, he's only got husbandry, but it's fine. While Iron Maiden has a bit more. But it looks like Iron Maiden has finished all of these goats without getting husbandry, which is not a good thing to do.
Skopos?
He's just quite behind at this point.
Burek.
Okay, so it looks like they have finished their game. I'm going to be downloading them right now. Okay. Okay, so here's the complete game. And it's provided by the DoD IAmMagyar.
Skopos?
Yeah. Okay, so what point did we get to? Oh, holy shit, that's a lot of goats. He does a really nice 402 advance, remember, and then he puts on the pressure with Murmillos and Termas. But then there's nothing really to raid here because the drafts already have been lured into the town center. He does get a nice villager pick off, which I missed with the Prometheans here. Picks off a villager, which is really nice. Trading a Promethean for villager is definitely worth it, in my opinion. But then now this army doesn't have anything to do, really, so it runs around. So I think it would have been better at this point to stop making army and just grab this town center here. I'd say it's better than grabbing this town center, which doesn't really secure a whole lot. But in the actual game, we do see Red has grabbed this town center. You see I'm grabbing the town center right now with one citizen. A citizen here. And there's a bit of a raid over here, but it is fended off. Okay, so right now, you see the population is 110 to 82. He's got loads and loads of goats here. He's got husbandry only. And he looks like he's in a pretty good spot. But I would spend this wood to make some farms. Well, Iron Maiden. Looks like he's making hoplites and hippicons, and he's got really low population. Probably lost some units from the raid. And he's also more or less finished his goats, but he's not got husbandry, so he's really hurting on food. Well, both players are sort of hurting on food, actually. So he does get a raid on this gold mine and force some idle time, but then there is an army here to defend this. So right now, what I'm worried about is how Iron Maiden is going to be able to secure this gold mine. Like, this gold mine is out of the question. He doesn't have anything here to defend it. And he's also much lower on population. He's nowhere near heroic. This TC is idle. Like, I don't know how he's going to secure this gold mine. I really want to see him build, like, a wall here while this army is down here, so it's not able to control it. To build some walls, and then you can just spam some Toxitates, and with the walls and Toxitates, you can sort of hold on to this gold mine and have a bit more of a chance. There's also quite a miss macro to not get husbandry and finish all these goats. Also, this raid was pretty brutal. In the meantime, these Toxitates, like, there isn't enough of a meat shield for them, so they're just getting picked off by the Termas. I think they die in like 3 javelins to the Termas. Yeah, there's still some raids happening down here, but these are sort of irrelevant. They're not doing enough damage. The two is guarding the town center, but it looks like Magyar's not interested in taking it. They're just pressuring down here, and he's picking off loads of free units as they come out of the barracks. They're running away, and they're just getting immediately picked off by these 10 or so units down here. So this is going really, really well for Red. And as we can see, the population difference, it's 100 population to 62. The goats have finished for Iron Maiden, and he's not got enough farms. He's only got 9 farms. It's not going to be enough food income to sustain like some of these stables, this academy, and this town center. He does have the wood to make farms, but there's so much going on right now with all this Uranus pressure. So he's not able to cope with it. There is still 1,000 gold in this gold mine here, which is actually quite surprising. How does this gold mine last that long? Also, it's 21 citizens to 42 villagers for Iron Maiden. So that's about like 10 citizens, 10 villagers ahead-ish for Magyar. He's like 10 villagers ahead. He's got max pop against like 60 pop. Our maiden is just like barely trying to hang on to this gold mine. I don't know why he didn't try to secure this gold mine and went for this one instead. This one seems a lot more exposed. Like one raid down here would end the game. He is trying to wall it up, which is good, but I really would rather see him try to go for this gold mine. And red does scout it, so I expect an attack is going to be coming down here. Red going heroic. He is almost heroic, so this attack will definitely be brutal, and I can see why it finishes the game. There's also Shockwave here, Shockwave on these boxes too. And then Chaos also grabs the Centaur. It's absolutely brutal. So this gold mine is finished, and then like, yeah, so Iron Maiden taps out at this point, and it goes to game 3. How exciting. It goes to a third game, so we don't actually know the outcome yet. Yeah, put the score back up. Oops. Whoops. Not right the right thing. Why is the bar so big? This is actually kind of annoying. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. Just leave it like this. Okay. So it goes on to game 3. No, this is the game we saw just now. Okay, so this is the game 3. Looks like it's going to be a Mediterranean game. No, it's Marsh. No, this is game 1. I think. Hold up. I think I haven't downloaded it actually. Should get it now. This is the March game, which you already saw. Okay, here it is. Loki. We see Loki against Hades on Mediterranean. So I'd definitely favor Hades on this map. Like Greeks are just in general really good on Mediterranean. See Magyar going for this wood line for some reason. I'm not sure why you would go for this wood line. It's really thin. It's really far from the TC. Like this wood line just seems better down here, or even the wood line down here. So I'm not sure why he chose to gather from here. But looks like he's doing pretty standard play. He's got a dot in the next position, and he's scouting the side with his Catoscopus. As Greek on Mediterranean, it's really important that you find pigs close to a town center. So what you want to do is scout one side of the map, and then you turn your scout around, which I think Magyar seems to be doing right now. Or is he not? Hope he doesn't scout a full circle, because that way he'll have trouble finding the pigs. Well, Iron Maiden, he has managed to kill a boar close to the wood line. He's got 4 on wood, and he is making a house in the corner. So he's scouted this side of the map. And I'm not sure if he's going to temple in his base, or if he's going to try to temple on the side to get more scouting done with his all-start. It looks like both of these players have really good fish. And this is also a really nice second gold mine. If Iron Maiden manages to take this town center.
Έτοιμος.
Λέγε.
So it looks like Magyar is going for 6 on wood.
Πρόσεχε. Λέγε.
He's got
Πρόσταγμα.
4 on food. One of them being this villager on the board. It's quite far away from the town center. I think at this distance, the pigs actually gather faster, but then maybe he's using the board so that he can make sure he doesn't run out of pigs, especially since he scouted that deep. Like, usually you don't scout that deep as a Greek because you want to find the pigs close to your base so you can bring them back to your town center.
Πρόσταγμα.
And And like, it's like if you don't have enough pigs to age up, it's really annoying as Greek because you have to make a granary and it's like more walking time for your villagers. Like the pigs under your town center is just like perfect because you get to gather from them right away as soon as the villagers spawn. It's basically zero drop off time.
Jo.
So in terms of fishing ships, we see Iron Maiden has 7 fishing ships.
Έτοιμος. Πρόσεχε.
Only 6 for Magyar. So
Jo.
well, it's now 8. So it looks like Iron Maiden is quite a bit ahead in fishing ships. So he's got a really solid build order, but he'll probably be advancing a bit later because he chose to do this sort of more fish-heavy build order. So he'll probably be advancing about 5 minutes. Okay, 50 Shades says, whenever I play Norse or Egg and Water, I always go for chickens. Well, in this case, he had a boar right next to the wood line, so he could gather both the boar and his wood with his 1 ox cart. So that was a really good thing for him to do. Looks like he will have enough pigs to age up. Well, Magyar, it looks like he's going to be age up at like about 3:32, so that's a really clean advance time. But he's got way too many villagers on gold. Actually, he's just barely not good enough. Food. Oh no. What is this? It's such a big delay. It's no good. He's actually also only got 17 villagers, so he's actually got 30 seconds of idle town center time. Like, that's really not good. 30 seconds of idle town center time to age up. That's not good. I mean, he should have 18 villagers if he ages up at, like, starts aging at 3:30, but he doesn't. He's also got 10 on wood for some reason, which is way too much. He should put like 5 of these on this wood line down here. So right now I think Iron Maiden is doing better because he's got a cleaner build order. Iron Maiden is making another alt start for more buildings. I don't know. I don't really know what's the standard for Loki here. Like whether this extra alt start is standard play for Loki, since I don't play enough Loki. But it does seem useful to have this extra builder. So I think he's gonna wander down here and then maybe do some side builds, or he's gonna go for a 3rd dock. Looks like he is going to go for a 3rd dock. I think. Yeah. He spaced his docks out really nicely to play around Pestilence, since Magyar is Hades, and Magyar, is he getting hand axe? He should really be getting hand axe. He has split his villagers away from gold. But right now he has too much gold from having 10 villagers on gold earlier. So I also think he doesn't have the food to get hand axe. He does now. He's going Athena, which is like really strong on water. Restoration is just so good on water with all the triremes and stuff. And he is leaping triremes out from 2 docks straight away, while this Minotaur explores to see what he can do. And he's also making a 3rd dock, which is actually a bit unconventional. If you go for a 430 build, you usually stay on 2 docks for most of the time because you can't support production out of this 3rd dock until like a bit later into the game. So it's I find it a bit strange that he's building a 3rd dock right now. Like if you advance for 430, you don't build this dock until a bit later. This Minotaur, it's working on the dock. There's good use for it. Iron Maiden is also classic. What's this? Yeah, he's not using auto queue, it seems, so he's kind of struggling to build longboats. Well, he had this dock idle for a little bit, and I would expect that all of them would be making longboats. So we see the ships start trading, and Iron Maiden is having really good micros. So he picked off 1 trireme already from Magyar, using minimal health on his longboats. But right now he's getting microed back by Magyar. And he does focus, and he's picking off this trireme now. It's a bit of back and forth here. There's a micro battle. While this Ajax and this Minotaur are just doing a number on this dock. Taking down this dock, and that's going to be really big. If this dock does go down, it looks like it will. So the thing is here, all of these Herser, these units are on the wrong place. They should be down here to protect the dock, or they should be harassing the colony. But right now, AO Iron Maiden, he's probably too focused on microing the water, so he's forgotten about these units for a bit, and they aren't harassing. And it looks like he is still ahead in population, though. So, but a lot of them aren't ships. There are these units which are right now finally due reach 50. I mean Iron Maiden. Magyar's wood line. So it's like, again, like, why did he choose to make his wood cutting point here and not down here? This would be a lot safer. Like, I mean, this is so far away. And then Sentinels gets cast, and then, like, there won't be any villager kills, only some idle time. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, it's nine longboats against 9 triremes, but then you have to remember that red does have restoration. So, I mean, looks like he does get kited a bit and loses out on the longboat. So right now, red has the advantage. They are having a bit of a micro war, but then Iron Maiden's falling behind simply because he doesn't have enough longboats. And he shouldn't be fighting this. He should, like, completely back off. It's really hard right now to come back as Iron Maiden. And also, like, the stock going down is huge. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. He should be using Healing Spring, like, right on the shore right here. And then you could just, like, turtle all these ships up against the shoreline and heal. But right now, I think Walter is lost. I'm not sure if he's still making ships. He is still making ships. He also isn't making villagers. He's also not making villagers. He remembered to make villagers again. I guess that's a peril of no auto queue and also playing Norse in general. It's like he's got a bit of a sad economy. He's like got like only 3 dwarves. The rest of them are gatherers. So it's probably a slightly suboptimal build order if he's only got 3 dwarves, because you'd think that like you'd have more dwarves on gold just from the arcade cage. You'd want like 4 dwarves on gold, or maybe 5 dwarves. I'm not sure what's the right number. And then right now, you can see Magyar just has so many boats here. He's demolishing water. And so Iron Maiden has chosen to stop making ships right now, which is a smart choice because there's so many ships here. I don't know how many there are, but there are like 18 ships. So he's chosen to stop fighting water, and he's going to play for land. He's got some Hersers, and he's going to try and raid with them. But with Sentinels, it looks like it looks like it's pretty hard to get a raid in. And also, he's not going to be able to just run in and like hit down this TC because there's all these archery raiders here that are also protecting the Sentinels. And Toxitates are really, really good defensive units. Yeah, map. It is random map. So I'd say Magyar maybe got a bit lucky getting Mediterranean. Like you wouldn't usually pick Loki into the Mediterranean. It's just one of Loki's worst maps. And Iron Maiden was playing Poseidon earlier, so you'd think he would go Poseidon on this map.
Πρόσταγμα.
So right now, it looks like red has 1 water, and there isn't that many fish for Mediterranean, but it's still
Πρόσταγμα.
really nice for him to win water. He can just
Έτοιμος.
Persian and he has all this water eco.
Λέγε πρόσταγμα.
This huge spoilage from all these
Πρόσταγμα.
ships. No, I think going for Athena is fine on this map. It's actually better than Ares in most situations. Like, he didn't need restoration, but if he needed it, it would be really important on this map. And also, Iron Maiden was playing around Ares. Like, he split these docks up really far apart so that Pestilence would not be effective on them. I'm not sure if they would still manage to hit 2, because Pestilence actually does have quite a wide range. And then one of the unfortunate side effects of that was that he had to build one of the docks like a bit too far forward, and it got picked off by the Minotaur and Ajax from Magyar. Okay, I missed that, so that's kind of bad by me. So we see Iron Maiden. He manages to take one of Magyar's forward TCs. So his win condition might right here might be to play for 4-2 TCs and just like make sure that Magyar doesn't get town centers. But on this side, he doesn't have any army yet. He does have some longhouses.
Πρόσταγμα.
And we see
Λέγε
the Toxicades coming down to raid. So it looks like that might be problematic for Iron Maiden. Oh god, they want games will be played on Pine Pick mod unless both players agree not to use it. Yeah, they pick their gods without knowing what the other guy will pick because it's a blind pick mod. And we see this brutal raid here. There are going to be a few raiding cavalry here, but it's not enough to defend these 10 Toxicades. They have a really slow train time, like 18 seconds. And then this raid is going to be huge. It's Oxcart Falls, and all these doors are like idle. This raid, and even once he has enough raiding cavalry, like these Toxicades won't go away. They'll just retreat to the shoreline where all the triremes are, and then like the raid will continue. And while Iron Maiden has established town center down here, like he's not going to be able to push into this Hades base with all the sentinels. Like keep in mind this is 2.7 patch and it does spawn 5 sentinels, although it looks like one of the sentinels was blocked from spawning or picked off. But that's 5 sentinels, and that's like that really does add up if you're trying to push into this location. And with these 3 archery ranges at the Toxicades, it's kind of impossible without a lot of battle bores. And we can see right here, they have similar vill counts on land, but Magyar is full pop. He's got loads of resources. He's got like 1900 wood, and he's got like 1200 food, 600 gold, and he can go heroic. While Iron Maiden has a really crap food economy. He's got no food. He's got two villagers on food. He's not going to be go heroic anytime soon, which is really important for him. He's spending all the food making these raiding cavalry to fight off these Toxicades, but he can't afford it because he lost water. Looks like these Toxicades are going to get surrounded though and picked off. This is really nice micro by Iron Maiden with like the raiding cavalry dodging the Toxicade arrows, and then right now he's trying to get us around and he's doing a pretty decent job. 50 Shades says, I feel insulted. Athena mass talks is blasphemy. No, it isn't. Ooh, that's a really nice surround by Iron Maiden. But it also means that the Toxicades are getting bunched up, and like not all the melee units can be involved in the fight. And at this point, I feel like Magyar is just so far ahead that it's really hard for Iron Maiden to catch up. He does have 900 wood, so he should be making some farms right now. Like he's just got so many resources and is just looping these Toxicades. I don't know how Iron Maiden can cope with it. He's also making only Toxicades. reminds me of 50 Shades, but then it's like 50 Shades goes Aries. And like makes wall gates everywhere. It's really annoying to play against him as Norse. Because like I really don't like using raiding cavalry against Toxicities. It feels like they don't actually counter mass Toxicities that well. So Iron Maiden, I thought he was going to go for a bit of a raid on this gold mine, which might help him get back into the game. He's got this army defending here, and like he doesn't have much going for him. I thought he maybe try to raid with this army, like killing these Toxicities with this army. It wouldn't actually give him enough to come back into the game, I think, because like these Toxicities are cheap, they're easy to make, and then when they die, the Hades player gets Shades. So it's like picking these Toxicities off won't really do much. I really want to see him go for some raids, and he is doing that right now. So maybe he'll pick up some villagers and they'll help him get back into the game. Meanwhile, this Mansport finds a gold mine here, and then the underworld passage goes through, and all these Toxicities come in. But it's like, what's this underworld for apart from like just like killing 2 doors? Just kill 2 doors. That's kind of like crap underworld. And, like there isn't anything else that's being done with it here. And also, there's this raid on the gold mine now, which is really good. It helps Iron Maiden get back into the game. But with all these units, like I mean, with all these raiding cavalry, he really needs the medium cavalry upgrade. But he's just got no food. He really needs to make farms. He's also got Idle Town Center. Well, he's denied the gold here, but then like these dwarves should just go to wood and then make farms from this town center. Looks like Iron Maiden is going back on water for a bit, so he is making some docks right now. Wonder if he's going to try to fight back water. I mean, Magyar has only 2 boats left since he deleted the other ones. But then from all the time fishing, he's already gotten like such a nice economy lead. But actually, for some reason, he only has 41 villagers. Well, I guess he lost some in the raid, but it still seems quite low. He just has like so many resources in the bank. And he also has really good eco-ups, while Iron Maiden is like... Well, he has decent eco-ups. But then he's also got no army ups. He's just really struggling on food. He doesn't have enough farms. Like... Yeah, he's just got really bad eco. But who knows? Maybe he can come back from this with like... With like just this good gold eco and lots of myth spam like Loki does. So... So we see Red is through Mythic. He's also set up this Petropolis to siege down this town center, which is very nice. This town center, I don't think there's a way for to hold it, so Iron Maiden will probably give it up. And then this earthquake, it's going to be absolutely devastating over here, killing this town center and all these houses. Here we also see the Chimera raid happening on the gold mine. Wow. It's going to be fried dwarves for lunch. And then, like, these dwarves are going to retreat back to this town center, but then this town center is going to get earthquaked, and then, like, all these buildings are going to fall. This is looking really, really bad for Iron Maiden. He is getting a fight down on these Toxicities, but these Toxicities have retreated into the forest. They have used the concave of the forest really well to hold the cavalry off, which are still unupgraded. You don't even have, like... Well, they do have copper shields now, which is decent, I guess. I mean, it's...
Skipan.
They're like, yeah, I just see how like after an earthquake here,
Já.
how Iron Maiden can come back. Ooh, painful.
Skipan.
It's also got lots of villagers in favor now. This town center finally falls down to this one Petrobolos. The raiding cavalry does come in down to pick it off, but it's a bit too late. It could have been easily prevented with just another wall. The earthquake happens in the main town center. All the houses fall, the town center falls.
Skipan.
Iron Maiden has no town centers. He's rebuilding a town center down here, but and also another one up here. But for the moment, he's only got a pop limit of 70 and all this.
Skipan.
And he's got a really bad eco. He's got like only 40 villagers. He barely got any fish. He does manage to pick off some archers down here.
Tilbúin. Tilbúin.
But like, where's he gonna get food? How's he gonna get heroic? Like, he's not gonna win without getting heroic and getting the battle boards going. He's also town center down here. And is getting pushed back. All these buildings are gonna be lost. There's like 9 doors down here that might also die if they don't get hidden. Magyar reclaims his third town center, and he's just really far ahead at this point. He also walled up, which is quite smart. And like, the raids aren't going to be happening anymore. I don't see how Iron Maiden can get back into this game. Apart from just like lasting until a super late game. He still hasn't used Healing Spring. He could just use it here or whatever and heal these cursors. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I don't know why he hasn't used Healing Spring yet. You see the talks run down in here? Down to the main town center. You see the water getting cleaned up as well. All these talks are gonna die, but still, Iron Maiden's just so behind in resources. Let's have a look at the resources total. Like, wow, this is absolutely huge. Like, even though the kill death isn't that bad, it's just such a big resource gap difference. You see the Toxicities here picking up all these doors. This is just getting worse and worse for Maiden.
Tilbúin.
Maiden does have 3 town centers though, so if he manages to hold, maybe his eco can pop off a bit, and then he can go heroic. He has a lot of wood. He's making farms now, which I think should have happened way earlier.
Yo.
And then but like, he can't go heroic because he's forced to make all these raiding cavalry because like he can't make throwing X-Men. He's forced to make all these food units to defend against these champion Toxicities with good armory upgrades, like medium raiders with only copper shields. He's also been stuck at like 100 favor for a very long time and just not being able to, like, well, it's not that he wasn't able to, because he had a lot of spare wood. I don't know why he wasn't making more trolls, like making use of that favor. They were like practically free for him since he had a lot of extra wood and he had like unlimited favor. So. At this point, I think the game is mostly over. I'm not sure how Maiden can try to come back. He's setting up farms. Will even be able to go heroic? Looks like he has clicked up heroic through Braggy. It's a little too late. JD's has just such a huge eco.
Tilbúin.
And he's got like no upgrades. See the wall sitting up for the Petrobolo siege. See such a massive wall of Toxicities. You see like 35 Toxicities here. They're just like roaming around and like they have free rank. They just took down the battle. And Iron Maiden, where's his army? He's got 2 markets, but Why would you need two markets?
Yo.
Like, you wouldn't be trading here. Ooh, oh my god! And he also doesn't see this gold mine. That's like absolutely huge. There's like a gold mine right here, and he doesn't actually see it. I thought it was a bit weird that he didn't take it. He also got the harmonious necklace here. Like he also could have took
Skipan.
really good relic.
Skipan.
And these Toxicos, my god, they got so many upgrades.
Yo.
See the Petrobolos here.
Yo. Tilbuin.
Now her maiden's actually holding pretty good, but it looks like it's just an impossible situation.
Tilbuin.
Like not farming and losing water just really cost him because he didn't have the food economy to do anything for a really long time. He's trying to make some trade happen here. Looks like he finally sees the gold mine. This trade is like it's not worth it. The CC is going to go down. Forward building from red. He's got like pretty decently upgraded cavalry, but then these crenellation towers. Well, he doesn't have crenellation yet. All these Toxicos still melting them. It's also kind of weird that red doesn't have any heroes. They're like one Perseus here, and then like all the cavalry is shut down. I think this is over. Also, the side building coming down here, the tower spanning.
Yo.
Looks like my game crashed. But that was a win for Magyar. So it looks like our maiden is knocked out, and the mystery Magyar person is going to take the win. Well, that was unexpected. I know Iron Maiden's a pretty strong player, but he went for Poseidon twice, and he lost on against Uranus, which is a tough matchup, admittedly, on Oasis. Whereas I think he would have been fine with Thor, since his Thor is really solid. And then he went for Loki, and then he gets like the worst map on Mediterranean. And yeah, well played to both. And my voice is getting hoarse, so I guess that's it for now. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys some other day.